The second SAO Progressive movie, what did I think? Including the post-credit scene. Part of me is like, no, please don't do that. But then I'm like, yes, maybe yes, do that. Jumping from floor 1 to floor 5. You may recall me not really being a fan of this approach. This is freaking SAO Progressive. Finally, this is Reki going floor by floor, pretty much going day by day, almost hour by hour. You're able to see the world without skipping anything. And what's the first thing they're doing? Just skipping 2, 3, 4. And I know the tweet, which I kind of don't completely buy, which I think in hindsight, my approach to the second movie has been more telling than anything. There's been various trailers that dropped, and up until recently, I've really just been avoiding them. Unless I spotted them like on Twitter or TikTok, I kind of just, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. It was up until I think August, like a month or two ago. I know they delayed the movie. I'm not gonna rant about that. Although I am kind of salty about that, not gonna lie. So I think it was back in like August that they were showing the first SAO Progressive movie back in theaters. So I was like, hey, perfect time. My girl has not seen SAO. Let's start watching this and get her introduced with this movie properly. And during that screening, I think it's the first time that I actually saw in its entirety, anyway, along with giving you context as to me going into this movie. That said, pretty much walking out of this, I gotta say, easily another banger. Going through a few things I got listed down, and don't worry, non-spoiler. Ask any spoiler question down below, and hopefully I do want to make a follow-up to this. So let me start off with the things I just loved about this movie. And what better to kick this off than freaking Argo? Up until now, I know she was technically at like the very end of the first movie, but now you get to fully see Argo. I've always just personally been a fan of this character. I don't know if it's because I played the SAO Memory Defrag game. I think that game just increased my love for her. Not to mention, of course, the light novel stuff and the alternate stuff in the SAO Progressive manga. Thankfully in this movie, she gets to shine. I would say she is the MVP of this movie. If you were salty about Argo not really getting a part in the previous movie, you're gonna be happy for this. I would just say, look forward to the banana fight. Second girl I actually want to mention on this list is actually Mito. So yes, Asuna's bestie that got introduced into the movies. I haven't kept up with the last couple of SAO Progressive novels, I've just been too busy. So I don't know if she's been introduced yet or they've hinted at her. If you weren't really a fan of Mito, or if you were really just cautiously optimistic, just know she's actually not in a lot of this movie. Personally, up until now, I've been really curious about what exactly they're gonna use her for, besides maybe eventually killing her off, giving Asuna and or Kirito some type of extra push, motivation, maybe even fracturing their relationship eventually. It seems that now they're using Mito in the actual SAO Progressive anime movies to serve as what essentially Kirito would have been, the solo player, because he's a quote-unquote solo player, but let's be honest, he's teamed up with Asuna. On the other hand, Mito is actually being in the background. She's like this Shinigami, this embodiment of death. She's still dealing with her own issues. So yes, Mito's role is short but sweet in this movie. I would just want to say I want to get her updated figure now. Let's mention Kirito next. Kirito is, well, Kirito. If I really had any nitpicks about this movie, you still don't really get Kirito from the light novels. In other words, I don't think you actually ever hear any of their thoughts in this movie. Maybe it's just me being hopeful, but I would like them to do something similar to Mushoku Tensei, something like Rudy, where you're constantly hearing what this person's going through. And unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get that. For positives, let's just say there is an emotional scene with Kirito. I think it may be the standout, if not within the top moments of this movie. Just teasing you a little bit, I think it's very reminiscent to stuff that Subaru has gone through. And if anything else, I do think it adds more, fleshes him out more in parts that you didn't originally see in the TV anime, thankfully. And in general, I really just like seeing Kirito and Asuna being lovey-dovey. I know they're moving a little bit faster than you would expect, but this is what we want to see. And the best for last, freaking Asuna. You know how much I love this SAO goddess, and it still stays the same here. If anything, I do think Asuna gets one of the best roles in this movie. Unlike the first movie, it does feel like this one's more 50-50, maybe 60-40, 60 in favor of Asuna. Unlike Kirito, you do get some more Asuna scenes, just giving you this chance to see Asuna being the stinker. I know you got some of that in SAO, Elicization, very, very minimal. But now you actually see Asuna getting in trouble and her thinking this through. It's a lot of show, don't tell. You could see her mental process. I'm not sure, but I think they also changed Asuna's hairdo a little bit. Her bangs seem a little bit longer, probably just for this movie. And once again, I do think Asuna gets the best parts of this movie, including 2 fights. One fight that was definitely not in the light novels. Keep in mind, I do not recommend reading the light novels for this, or at least for this floor. Just like the first movie, wait until you've actually seen the movie, then go back. Keeping this non-spoiler, let's just say there's a mysterious character that shows up. I really got chills and goosebumps when he came up. I'll just say it, that scene is done differently here, I think, and I don't mind the change. If they're doing what I think they're going to be doing with that post-credit scene, I'm looking forward to this. For other side characters, you got Kiba, you got the replacement for the leader, what was his name? Diablo, I think. And you got a few other cast members showing up, including Agio. I do really like what they're doing with these characters, not making them one note, especially Kiba. That's one of the things I really liked about the novels. It's not just this bastard that's this jerk character. And there are various other Easter eggs if you look in the background. I have to talk about the boss fight. So again, no spoilers. You've seen that giant golem titan. Just seeing this on the big screen, I'm glad this thing was not CG, at least I don't think so. And really just this massive golem. Of course, I was thinking Attack on Titan, you know where my mind's at. But then afterwards, my girl was like, no, this feels like frigging Obelisk, the Tormentor. And when this guy is punching you, that is 100% correct. One of the things I particularly loved about this boss in the light novels was, hey, you actually have to figure out how to take this out. It's not just, let's hack it and slash it until its HP drops to red. If anything, credit to the movie, there's some scenes where I'm like, you guys are gonna die. I'm like, I would not like to feel that pain. I think the boss fight and the actual ending events actually is the last 30 or so minutes. Keep in mind the movie's like an hour and 30, hour and 40, just to give you a rough idea. Related to the boss fight is actually just the SAO Goddess coming back with that bomb soundtrack. One of the standout pieces here is really just the unique boss music. At first you're like, what is this? It goes on like, this fits the situation so well. I actually wouldn't mind if going forward, each of the bosses has their unique music towards them. A second standout of music is actually one that sounds similar to one of the astronaut themes in the past. It is used very lovingly. Definitely a standout moment in the movie for me. As for anything I didn't like, any nitpicks, I originally planned to record this like on the day of, but life got in the way, so I'm recording this now. Which means I actually had a few days to think about this. First off, I did mention my original thing, Kirito Asuna. You really don't get any of their inner monologue. I do wish that was not the case. Especially since now we've gotten so much isekai anime, or just anime in general, where it's been done. You could do it. For a second more meaty nitpick, the actual 5th floor. This is why I actually don't recommend reading that specific SAO light novel before checking this out. I could be wrong since I have Overlord and freaking Shield here on the brain right now, but I do believe this floor was the one dedicated to puzzles, hence the bombs. You see almost very little, if not almost nothing. Unfortunately, walking out of this movie, I feel like I don't really know what this floor is. Like, where is the world building for this floor? I do realize that it's partly due to the time limit. They gotta rush through some of the things, and another one is they really just expect you to eventually read the light novels at this point. But come on, some people just wanna see it on screen, see the anime, especially nowadays in this TikTok age. Actually, for a third one that I do want to mention, and I do want to stress the nitpick with this one, you have so many examples of characters that feel like they're gonna die. I think you could only do that enough times before it's like, yeah, what are you doing? Come on. Unless it's a side character or Mito, we know Kirito and Asuna make it out of this. That said, I do want to actually flip this into a positive for Asuna scene. You know she's not gonna die, but she does get into trouble, and that is actually, for me, one of the standout scenes in this SAO Progressive movie. I'll just mention dungeon floor, yeah. For the post-credit scene, I don't consider this a spoiler. There is technically no post-credit scene teasing a future SAO project. The very end scene is really just Asuna and Kirito once they defeated Kayaba and they're just watching the world crumble, you know, in floor, what, 75? I think this is what's coming up next for SAO, and you can let me know. Which may be before or after a Unito rig, I don't know. I won't mention what it is, but they also do something at the beginning of this one, which really doesn't make sense if they want to go back to floor 2, 3, or 4 in an additional movie. Which is why I think they might do this, and I kinda don't want them to do this, which is doing something similar to Dragon Ball, or more similarly the Demon Slayer movie, the train one. If they do it right, they're doing a more slow burn to it, I wouldn't mind. Go back to floor 1. Yes, we're gonna have to repeat that floor for the 3rd time, but expand on it, then go to floor 2, then do something similar for floor 3, floor 4, and eventually get back to floor 5 and expand this floor, expand the world building, and then continue past that. I know it's going to be annoying at first. I know people were definitely annoyed when Demon Slayer movie did it, but money, money, money. I know it may be a little bit controversial, but would you like to see that? But anyway, sticking with this movie, I freaking loved it. Last year, my anime of the year was Yasuo Progressive Movie. This year, I could confidently say this one will not be my anime of the year, but it's very securely in my top 10 anime of this year so far. Either way, post any spoiler question below, or any other anime you want me to cover. Originally, I was supposed to launch this channel with fricking Licorice Rico, and that didn't happen. But I can't wait any longer. If you want me to casually hear my thoughts about some anime, let me know. Post in a comment. Maybe I'll do some shorts on them. Hit that like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll catch you guys later.